Beijing Olympics officially kicking off this morning. We've been following the very latest live from Beijing. Our reporter Patrick Fok is joining us now live. He's got a preview of what happened at the ceremonies and then also talks between Russian President Vladimir Putin and Chinese leader Xi Jinping as well. Patrick.
Yeah, well, China has repeatedly said that sports and politics shouldn't mix. But, on the issue of the meeting between President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, the Chinese president was using the opportunity of the Beijing Winter Olympic Games to get this meeting together. It really can't be understated how important it was. Remember, Xi Jinping basically hasn't left the country since the start of the pandemic. And here he was really cementing that relationship between Moscow and Beijing. Those ties have been getting stronger and stronger in the face of that isolation from the West. Today, they signed a new deal for Russia to provide China with more gas at a time when Moscow is really having difficulty with European customers over Ukraine. You also had China back Russia over its concerns about NATO's expansion, and in turn, Russia backing China over the Taiwan question. Separately, when we talk about the opening ceremony, one of the key highlights, the key talking point certainly, was that China chose a Uyghur athlete to light the cauldron, or it was a snowflake, actually, that was lit with the torch. And it's difficult to know what sort of message China was trying to send exactly, but it certainly seemed to be trying to address the criticisms from Western countries, including the US, over the treatment of ethnic minorities in the country, in particular Uyghurs from Xinjiang province. Ironically, the organizers of the Games had said only a couple of days ago that they wanted the opening ceremony to turn attentions away from diplomatic boycotts and human rights related issues. But you might argue that this really put that particular point front and center. Yeah, well, you can't ignore it when the U.S. is not sending their diplomats. Of course, President Biden not in attendance as well amid the ongoing human rights abuses in China. Patrick Fok live for us in Beijing. Patrick, thank you. Meanwhile, this House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has a warning for American athletes competing in the Olympics in Beijing. Watch.
You're there to compete. Do not risk incurring the anger of the Chinese government because they are ruthless.
Pelosi going on to urge athletes to avoid making critical statements about China's human rights abuses, insisting the Olympic Games were not the proper venue for athletes to voice their concerns. She did acknowledge the U.S. has a moral obligation to condemn the rights violations, but insisted the Olympic Games, again, would not be the place to do so.
NBA stars Enes Kanter Freedom, who is a staunch critic of China's human rights abuses, remember he changed his name, he reacted to Pelosi's plea, saying it broke his heart in a recent interview. The United States, among several other nations, has enacted a diplomatic boycott of these games. Bob Sellers joining us now, moments away from the Wall Street update here. But again, the speaker says, don't anger China. There's diplomatic boycotts with these Olympics, a lot of politicking around it.
Yeah, don't you think she should be saying, China, treat our athletes with respect, or you will pay the consequences? She should be standing up for Americans who have free speech in this country and warning other countries, you treat our people appropriately or there will be consequences, not watch what you're saying. First of all, these athletes are pretty busy. They're trying to compete. Any politics would be secondary at this point.
Although if you've seen them, they kneel, they'll make their stand, or if they...
Exactly.
Those kinds of things.
It was 68 Olympics. I'm not saying there are no politics, right, but I think we should stand up for free speech, whether you believe that's the place or not. I think we should be telling the Chinese to treat our people appropriately.
Well, if that's the message from the House Speaker, it draws into the question we've been asking months prior to these Olympic Games. Why are you sending your athletes in the first place amid these ongoing human rights violations?
If you can't ensure their safety, don't send them. I'm all for sending them. I had a roommate that couldn't go in 1980. He was a triple jumper, world class, couldn't go to the Olympics. So I understand athletes want to go, but they should be safe. We shouldn't have to worry about that.
Can I just bring one thing up, and maybe you'll laugh, and maybe you'll think it's serious. Either way, I kind of chuckled to myself here. President Putin is at the Olympics, and Daily Mail reports that when Ukraine came out, the Ukraine athletes came out, he was fake napping.
Oh,
and there's a picture.
Really?
And there's a picture.
Really?
Of it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing about our president, it's not fake.
Nope. Rim shot.
You asked if I was going to think it was funny or not, but yeah.
That's what's been
politics going all around.
Yeah, I know,
Now,
Jen. He's telling me to go to Wall Street. I believe that's what.
Yes, and we're waiting on the president any time now.
Yeah.